Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to round two, as it were, of the epic Migs and Solski battle. For those of you who were watching yesterday, we saw the race unfortunately be prematurely ended due to a member of Migs' chat spilling some information. So Solski, being a true sportsman, agreed to a redo, and here we are 24 hours later for what should be a very entertaining round three match between these two fine competitors. I'm Pro A007, and joining me today is Alucard 2004. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, and thanks for that introduction. Yeah, these two are some extreme competitors in the combo rando, and this is just really exciting to see another match between them. So we get a double dose this weekend from these players, and we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
Could be anybody's game at this point when we're talking, top 16.
Yeah. And in the first match, what was interesting is the two runners actually went in very different directions. Migs took a couple of sequence breaks early, and it netted him some very good items early, and it put him in a good spot. Unfortunately, he also had some very untimely deaths, particularly at Pod, and Solski, who was playing more along the logic, was able to make up for it, generating some very crucial items for Super Metroid that allowed him to run through that part of the game with relative ease. Whereas Migs was missing some very important items, notably Space Jump and Screw Attack.
That is interesting, and that's the beauty of the combo randomizer is that you can really route in a lot of creative ways. But here we go, we're off to the races. So the race begins, and I imagine both players will be jumping right into Link to the Past early here, because
Right.
that seems to be the more accepted route.
Well, you mentioned creative routing. We have seen some players make a run down towards early Morph Ball and the ceiling item to see if they can get something good out of that. It's uncommon, but we have seen it happen.
It's definitely a gamble because the wealth of items are in Link to the Past, but if you do find something down there, you can get a huge advantage over your opponent. So I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
understand what these players are doing, and we do see a divergence already from these players. Solski saving and quitting to the Sanctuary, and Mig's gonna check out what's over at Hyrule Castle. I assume just the Uncle area. Maybe we'll see a tree pull here shortly.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty much what they did yesterday. Migs went for the early Uncle, and Solski played the more traditional Kakariko route. So we got some arrows for both of our runners here, some supers from the Uncles. So that's a missile pack and a super missile already for Migs.
More arrows out of the crabs, hearts out of the tier 1 tree pull, so no bombs, which is what we're really looking for, or maybe some cash to be able to, farm up money for bombs, but we're going to have to see what these players do to help them get the bombs they need for Kakariko and other checks shortly.
Yeah, that was a bit of a hiccup for both of them yesterday. They had to kind of go about it in different ways, and we got an early sword already. Swords were hard to come by yesterday. It took, I think, about 45 minutes before we got our first sword. Solski found one in the moat in Super Metroid.
And I actually like this play from Solski. He's taken a save and quit here out of the Lost Woods, because with that sword, he'll be able to clean up the Uncle checks and then jump straight into the castle, Hyrule Castle, and get some more chances to get bombs or money that he might need for Kakariko.
Yeah, and we'll see how Migs decides to play this when he's done his Lost Woods checks. We have Power Bombs and Lumberjack, a far cry from yesterday when it was Silvers.
Yeah, hopefully That is not our first logical power bomb pack, but we shall see.
Yeah, we've seen 2 power bomb packs already, and neither is currently accessible. And power bombs do hold a particular importance, especially when you find Morph Ball, because it's pretty unlikely you're going to find regular bombs at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we see Solski going straight into the castle, so making good use of that sword.
And he got his bombs.
Mm-hmm. Got good drops too. We'll see if Migs is able to get lucky here with some drops on the way to Kakariko, because it looks like he is following through on this.
Yeah, and I guess in his mind it makes sense just to get this out of the way. There's a lot of checks even without the bombs, and there's a pretty good, and he'll get some money if nothing else, so he'll be able to pay off the bomb vendor at the very least.
Hopefully, he can always, farm the front of the well, but it's a bit slow to do loops through there. Hopefully, get some cash in these chests, or straight up just get bombs.
There's a shovel.
You can dig up some bombs. That works. 20 rupees.
So not much. An E-Tank is nice for Super Metroid, of course, but in terms of practical items, coming up a little short here so far from Migs.
Meanwhile, in Escape, we got the map in the front of Hyrule Castle, so potentially the small key could be in Dark Cross, so we could see a play here from Solski to Death Warp and try to check things in the back if he does get that small key, or he might just get on out of here. It looks like he's setting up that Death Warp.
He's giving himself the out, if nothing else. And okay, so small key is going to be at Dark Cross.
Well, or in the back.
Or in the back, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he's giving himself the chance. Migs did fortunately find some bombs for himself, so was able to check the back of the well. I don't believe he's gone back for Blind's house yet, though.
Not as of yet, no. I think he's kind of hoping to come up with some money, and so far he is somewhat wanting on that, as this has been a rather poverty-stricken seed here. Migs is going to go and to the hut in the corner and get some more bombs. That's a good move.
Great move.
And gets another bomb from just a random pull on top of that, so...
Ooh, looks like these rats are dropping some bombs too, so... Should be a quick farm, and then probably head back to Blind's hut, clean that up, and get through the rest of CAC.
Yeah. Looks like... whatever it was... nothing of particular consequence, at least on the A Link to the Past side. Migs. Oh, okay. I see. Migs is going for the shovel. He's gonna maybe do a loop on this.
Interesting. I guess he's gonna go back up through Kakariko to clean things out, or maybe come back later.
Yeah. So just some missiles at the race game, so he's not going to take those. He's already actually got a decent amount of missiles. There is some supers in the well in the dam. What was that in the library?
I believe it was E-Tank.
It might have been. I think it was a blink and you'll miss it. E-Tank, thank you, chat, for confirming. We got four heart pieces already for Migs. Solski's probably not far behind on that count. Fortunately, he doesn't.
Heading to Mini Moldorm here, which is pretty exciting, because we still haven't seen anything that really breaks this seat open yet.
Unfortunately, no. And unless he gets a nice rupee pull here, Migs is going to have to do this twice. Yep. Oh,
He's heading out. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was a lot of nope there in the mini Moldworm cave. Solski getting trolled there by the disappearing rupee. Doesn't actually manage to pick up the 20 and still at 0, but found that bloomerang in mini Moldworm. We did get some power bombs, which are important. So if we do see the morph come up, then you know we'll have the power bombs and super missiles that we need to be able to progress through Super Metroid.
Tracker Zeruvian is correct. See it absolutely oof early on here. Makes you wonder if vanilla morph ball location, like there's got to be something there. You're starting to think in the back of your mind, because we're 9 minutes in, we're running out of checks already, and you start to run the calculus in your head, and there ain't a lot here right now.
You gotta think Solski's starting to worry about Kakariko, and is also probably gonna head to the Sahasrara eastern kind of area. Like, Sahasrara is pretty dense. Like, you just kind of want to check that, but looks like gonna head south first.
Which makes sense. He did this yesterday as well. He had a little bit of trouble kind of putting it all together because lack of bombs was kind of hamstringing him a little bit, but got it to work eventually. And Megs did pass up on the shovel spot. Might be saving that for later. No shovel check yet. We are short a shovel.
Yeah, and Solski hasn't picked it up yet, so once he does, then he may run all the way back down here or save and quit and head there. We'll see. You know, when you see those early fetch quests, it's a decent idea to chase them, because it could mean, hey, the game's given me this early, maybe I gotta do it.
Yeah, and you know, as the minutes tick on, and if nothing comes up in Sarsaparilla or Eastern, well, after that it's really Shovel and Agena at that point, and you know, that's not exactly it's not exactly a short loop either.
Right, you might even consider doing the 2 items in Super Metroid. One of them logical, one of them out of logic, but I mean, you take what you can get at that point before you trudge over to the desert and go to Agena, potentially.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. And yeah, in terms of Super Metroid ammo, we're looking at we got a pretty decent collection here. We got about like Solski having some words already for the bomb vendors, as he already knows.
Nice. Okay, so Migs does grab the item there in the chest, but it must be a Super Metroid item, because we didn't see anything pop up. Probably a power bomb pack, if I had to guess, but who knows? We'll have to see.
It's like Migs is now going to head down south towards the dam and Mini Moldorm Cave. Solski is now working his way through Lion's Hut.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Solski pushes the shovel or just goes straight for that Sahasrara Eastern play. Definitely more dense to go east, but again, you know, you have to weigh the options. You can get a quick shovel check in before you do that.
Well, we haven't even had a map check yet, which could tilt their decision making in one direction or another. It's probably going to be done anyways, but it might lean a little more on one's priority.
And it looks like Solski doesn't want to leave anything behind here, so going to go ahead and just farm Blind's Hut one more time to get this bottle vendor item, so this will be a new check for us as well.
Right. Yeah, Migs declined to go through with it. He also skipped out on shovels, so he's gambling that neither is going to pay off. So let's see. Well, the bottle vendor gave us some absurdly overpriced bombs.
All right, Solski's got that shovel equipped, so we're gonna see another new check over in the Haunted Grove there.
And there's the morph ball.
All right, looks like shovel is really what is kind of pointing us towards Super Metroid. Now, I still feel like it might be worthwhile to peek at Sahasrara and maybe Eastern. That's a questionable one. It looks like we have a pendant over at Eastern, so may not be the best idea, but to try to find another power bomb pack. Power bomb packs are pretty critical. We don't know what was in that Dark Cross, so if that was a power bomb pack, that'll probably help them out a lot. But I would, I'd be checking the Sahasrara like Solski.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a low risk play. You get 3 items out of it, and maybe even a green pendant location if you're so inclined. Okay.
There you go.
Well, okay, green pendant at Desert and a blue crystal at Tower of Hera.
We did get some more power bombs in the back of Sahasrara's closet there, so that is a lot of stuff that we can clear in Super Metroid very cleanly.
Yeah, with you know, the basic stuff. You know, blue Brin, bomb Terizo. 10's enough to do gauntlet, although they're a little light on health, so maybe hold off on that for the moment. I think they only have 1 E-tank. But a lot of other stuff is they can just run the gamut really all the way down to crate if they wanted.
Yeah, we could even, peek and see what's at Spectacle Rock Cave, and using some dark strats unless we find the lamp. We can do the old man and get the save and quit portal up there. So definitely worthwhile to be dipping SM sooner rather than later. I mean, we're running out of options in Link to the Past anyway. So
yeah,
it'll
outside of this, the only other check on the board is Agina.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody really that we have not seen. Migs has not done a shovel yet. Solski has, which led to our morph ball. So 2 of the next 3 chests for sure will be items. We also have a compass still in play, but if they're lucky, they will get 2 items out of this in logic, plus whatever behind the big chest in or what's in behind the dark room, and we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, I kind of like the play to come in here because it's a pendant. Like, maybe you don't have to come back here anyways. But there is going to be an item on Armos Nights. Solski knows that there's 2 more items available here, so he's going to go ahead and just collect them because he's already come this far. There's an E-tank that'll help.
And then this next item, of course, is out of logic. So it's likely not progression, but it could still be something valuable, like more power bombs, for example, or something nice.
For sure. And logic's all great and everything, but if you can break it efficiently, go for it. It's well worth it. If you don't have to come back.
That was certainly something Migs tried pretty hard to do yesterday. Like I said, he really went for some of those early logic breaks because he got early power gloves, so he really ran with it and tried to really kind of press the issue.
Only missiles there, so unless Solski wants to do a Gina, yeah, he's going straight into Super Metroid. We see save quit and a reset. That'll put him back on the ship, and from there, he can start routing Brinstar. Now, we don't have any can fly or anything, so we can't do criteria power bombs, but we'll likely see the wall jumps to gauntlet, and more than likely a Brinstar play.
Solski is making his way up to gauntlet.
Very clean wall jump.
Got a lot of missiles here.
Good ammo, 15 peebs. It looks like there were power bombs in the Dark Cross there. That's what it looks like to me.
There are no beams. There no suit changes, no movement changes. So yeah, it probably was power bombs.
He's about to grab that more, which is good. Put him on the right track.
I don't know. Do you check Agina here just as kind of sheer paranoia, or just carry on with Super Metroid?
It's so out of the way. I think
Yeah.
if you wanna try to like metagame it, or if you're trying to make a gamble to pull ahead, you check Agina here. But otherwise, I mean, Super Metroid's gonna have the items. And hey, look, we got a logic mirror here. You do need some form of can fly or speed booster in order to collect that mirror. And Migs making some plays here, going to ignore criteria and Brinstar and head over towards the wrecked ship. Maybe just check this moat item.
Well, the moat was valuable yesterday, and that's not required, but that's sure nice to have. And maybe he'll make a run at. Yes, he is going to go towards Red Tower. Okay, I like this. I like this route divergence.
That's interesting for sure, because if Migs hits some items that can help him through Brinstar, like maybe Speed Booster to help him check Waterway, or logically put Brinstar Reserve in play, like Solski's sequence breaking right now, that could help. But we already see a space jump there.
Hello.
At Brinstar
there.
Reserve.
And a gravity suit.
Whew.
So
that's a payoff.
Maridia is now in play.
Yeah, I don't suspect that we'll see Solski push Maridia too hard until we actually see a speed booster or an ice beam to be able to get through the front efficiently. But it could be a play that could be made. We also unlocked the wreck ship logically with that space jump as well, so that's now in play as well. Yeah.
That might inform his decision going forward. Migs coming up empty in Red Tower, 3 nope items.
All the mobility items here.
You sure you don't have
Metroid?
You sure you don't have ESP or something? It's like, man, all the good stuff for Solski here is out of logic. Play to go down a gauntlet is paying dividends as he's come up with 3 major items in Brinstar.
Now those are in logic. So like those are fully in logic now that we have speed, which leads to gravity, and space was available as well to be able to get up there. So it's really heads up for Solski to go through this kind of standard Brin loop and get all the value. But we do see Migs kind of reverse routing here into Brinstar, so maybe not going to be leaving any of that stuff behind.
No, and nice blue mail for Migs. Armor was a bit of an issue for our runners yesterday, and not getting a lot of health after like an early burst of it. More power bombs.
A lot of Super Metroid available in Logic. Yeah, that speed booster, as I mentioned, opens up Dragon. There's
Ooh.
Pegasus boots.
Wow. Let the good times roll after a really sluggish start. We're really picking up speed here. Is that? Oh boy. We got flippers.
Things are just breaking wide open. So much stuff that these guys can do. You know, like with that mirror, we can go up to Hera through Super Metroid, logically. We can, you know, now check all the flippers checks and stuff. And, you know, obviously we have the gravity suit, so we can do Maridia. These things are just opening up like crazy. A lot of opportunities for route divergences.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's like it's almost too much of a good thing because you start thinking, well, man, there's all this stuff I can do. Like, what do I do? Migs trying to get up to Billy Mays through wall jumps. Had a little trouble there. Finally breaks through, and Solski does the wave gate glitch. And phew,
charge beam.
That puts some of his ammo concerns out of the way, though he'll still pick up supers as he goes along. But other than that, no, I'm going to skip every missile he sees from this point on.
There's the Ether Medallion. We're just getting one thing after another. Solski going to be able to cleanly route this into Waterway, since we did get that speed booster early, and gravity makes it pretty quick check too. You don't have to just kind of slowly walk through the water and get to the top of that platform. A sword! Wow. Okay.
Alright, so if the Merle doesn't show up at some point, we could be looking at some point at a possible Aga run, depending. But we're a little ways off from that at this stage. But Solski and Migs about to high-five each other here.
Yep, really nice high five. Now, the route is unfortunate here for Migs because he does not get to check Waterway at this time to get that sword, and so may end up routing it back in. We didn't see Migs go for like Old Mother Brain and Criteria's supers yet, so that could be a reason to go back down this way and then kind of route back up through Blue Brinstar like Solski's doing right now.
It certainly helps. Migs trying to set up the Bryn super skip, having a little trouble there. Finally gets it. Yeah, Master Sword was at Waterway, so Waterway's had a tendency, at least in the seeds I've called, to pay off pretty nicely. No exception. Solski gonna trying to crystal flash his way up, did not get it. There it is.
Yeah, nice shine spark, and Migs just cleaning up the pink print checks here, so gonna get that charge beam, looks like.
Yeah.
Just gotta get this gate glitch. Close. I don't think he's quite flush against the wall.
Nope.
There it goes. Nicely done. It'll be interesting to see where Wave shows up, because logically this check is locked behind Wave to get that charge beam. I mean, these runners aren't really going to care, but it'll be funny if we, you know, find Wave in Turtle Rock or something crazy.
So, Migs taking stock of his situation here.
Nice shine spark through the pit room there from Solski. It's pretty cool. Charging that shine spark up the elevator, and then sparking through the room. And being able to kill all those enemies. You gotta do it pretty quickly.
So, Criteria supers.
Yep, got plenty of health to spark here. Looks like Solski's going to take advantage of the iframes that you get by using Speed Booster to charge up the Shine Spark by running left and charge it up, and then run right and get those blue echoes so you can get through those bullions, those bouncy bubble gums.
So Solski picked up a heart container out of that, which another nice pickup, and now he's right back where he started. And from here, I'd say Red Tower would probably be his next destination. Well, Criteria Power Bomb. Oh, Criteria Power Bombs, and then probably down Red Tower, and yeah. Then again, maybe actually makes a run at Wreck Ship. He could do it. Get it out of the way now. But nope.
Interesting. I guess Solski was using that to save the game?
That would be my assumption.
I mean, I imagine that he is going to hit the ship here and refill his power bombs at the very least.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I was just going to say there's a speed booster for Migs, so he's just getting kind of caught up on that progression. Probably worried about Waterway a little bit.
Yeah, he might be. But still plenty of checks here to do. He still needs to pick up his space jump and his gravity suit. Solski found a bottle at Bomb Chorizo. So that's a nice little fetch quest item. It makes sense to do this without space jump, as a possible safety, but gets it done anyways and gets another E-tank.
Alright, so we got a new check here. There's the Spazer beam. Man, we're finding all the beams, but we already got plasma, so no need.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure, Miss Metroid. We're pretty sure though it was power bombs. So no, so
I
Solski
don't believe we saw a third power bomb pack there.
Yeah, Solski turns up his nose at the Spazer.
A refill. I'm a little surprised that Solski didn't refill there, because I feel like refilling your supers might be pretty good to get through like attic and stuff. But I guess we have speed, we have charge and plasma, so maybe it's fine.
Yeah, and whatever he gets out of Fantoon will give him a nice buffer.
Nice crumble jump there from Migs. Well done, grabbing that space jump. I think Migs thinking about that Waterway play now. He's like, I don't want to leave it behind at this point. And that'll do it. Good. Yeah.
He'll be happy he did, but the way this is turning out for him, especially with Red Tower coming up as a big fat 0, he's got to be starting to worry a little bit. Too early to panic, but it's early enough to start thinking, man, I could have done this or that better, but such as it is, and it ultimately evens out at the end of the day. But how and when you get there is the question.
Well, I mean, we'll see if Wreck Ship really pays off here for Solski, because maybe Migs heads down Red Tower since he's already gone up Red Tower at this point, and it could head towards Kraid or potentially Maridia as well.
That is true. Solski's got his plasma beam ready to take on the Ghost of Argus.
Trying to find a super drop here so you can get back through to Green Hill Zone there. Man, getting some pretty rotten luck on those red bugs.
There it is. Solski on the board at 33. 3309.
The unfortunate part about how Migs has routed this is he's kind of isolated the 230 and Bomb Teresa locations, so he's missing out on the plasma, he's missing out on the bottle there. So
Yeah.
we'll see, you know, how that, if he ends up going back for those checks. But it looks like he's going down Red Tower.
Well, there's the ice rod. Well worth it if Turtle Rock turns out to be a crystal, and there's a 1 in 7 chance it will not be. So that alone's got to have Solski feeling pretty good, and Solski saying no thank you to a red boomerang. He's already got a boomerang.
Some more supers at X-Ray, so not a bad loadout in terms of supers and missiles at this stage, and obviously having charge, and we know where Plasma and Spazer are, but Migs does not presently.
Yeah. Solski is going to do Spiky Room of Death. See what's hiding at the end of this journey. And on the boss count, Solski is up 1 zip on Migs, having taken down Fantoon just a moment ago. But Migs is going to give us a look now at a couple of places we have not seen yet. Spazer, and then probably Kraid and Kraid as well. Ooh, Migs getting caught there. Have to reset.
Just a bug net at Spazer, and I imagine Mig's gonna push on forward towards Kraid. Could just elect to go for the Maridia choice here, but you know, if you're that close to Kraid, I would recommend checking that out before you head into Maridia.
Yeah,
in case you get quality of life items. But
yeah,
we'll
for
see.
sure.
All right, we're going for a Maridia play. I like it.
Well, do most of it, so why not?
Wow, beautiful short charge there from Migs. The bottom of Main Street.
And I think there was just some missiles in the back walls, so he's going to check Mama Turtle next.
Yeah, from Migs' perspective, all of Maridia except for Shack Tool and Plasma are in Logic, and he does have Charge Beam, which and Speed Booster, which can let you kind of get around the logical requirement of being able to get out of Plasma. So, and oftentimes when those checks don't turn up anything, you can just reset anyways to your saves. Looks like we do find a Bombos here at Mama Turtle, so nice to have 2 medallions in your pocket.
Yep, and I think that's a hook shot.
Spicy.
So Solski coming up with some pretty big items here in Rex ship. Already got Ice Rod, and he's about to get his hook shot once he's finished going bowling here.
Keep in mind that Solski did scout the Middle Ocean item already, so that's why he's skipping over that one right now.
A red shield for Migs.
Yeah, I think that hook shot placement is really convenient for Solski and kind of informs his route, because with East Death Mountain being available through Super Metroid to get to Death Mountain in the first place, he'll be able to check a lot more than Migs can if Migs does
Yeah.
indeed go down there after Maridia.
Yeah, no fire source yet, so Tower of Hera is still questionable, but everything else is in play, and yeah, that's going to be huge for Solski. That's 8 items, and with Pegasus boots, it's going to be so much quicker. And there's our first nope tank of the match.
It's like a little French vanilla nope tank right there. Kind of curious what's here in Maridia, though. We're starting to get to some of this density here, aqueduct and sand pits and such.
Apart from Bombos and the red shield, it's been pretty blah for Migs so far. At this point, he's only doing it for the boss at this point. Still plenty of checks, notably the sand pits, but still, it's a far cry from what you would hope it would be.
Agreed. Looks like Mig's gonna go ahead and scout out the left sand pit.
Solski's heading down to Red Tower. He's out of power bombs, but he'll pick up one there, and I'll get a few more. Oof.
Yeah, just more ammo in left sand pit, so Mig's gonna go ahead and reset. Not a big deal, honestly. So we'll see if he decides to check the right sand pit as well, or saves that for later.
I could see him saving it for later, just based on what he has. It actually works out pretty well for him in terms of routing to do the right sand pit later, and then he can just he can get out of here without too much trouble.
Yeah, we'll see. If he pushes towards plasma as well, because that can also kind of put a wrench in your routing when if you're trying to full clear Maridia. But that could be something to route after the right sand pit as well. So seems fine.
A dead Batwoon from Migs.
Yeah, solid fight. And Maridia is surprisingly dry here.
Yeah, this has been a rather disappointing Maridia so far. Still got a few checks left to do, but yeah, apart from taking out Dragon, this has really been a bust for Migs in terms of really making meaningful progression here and maybe getting a couple of items that Solski might not get for a little while.
Solski's trying to take it slow and steady here through pre-X-ray. It's he's kind of in the danger zone. 2 hits on the spikes is game over. So gotta be kind of careful here.
Yeah. So he's through X-ray. Wouldn't? Nah, he probably wouldn't. Like, there's an energy recharge station here at the bottom. I doubt he's going to go for that though. Or, well, shut my mouth.
Well, this could allude to potentially a play into Maridia, or just to have the health when you're going through.
Yeah.
Like Norfair, you can potentially do a quick hell run or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of opportunity to use that health, so it's a good safe choice, and it didn't take very long for him.
Solski is going to just wait this out at Spazer. Migs, meanwhile, is about to take on Dragon. No grapple beam, no X-ray. You know, it's got to do this supers and nothing else, and regular missiles, of course. But is it 20 supers to take down Dragon?
I believe that's correct. I'm not 100% sure. I should know better, but
Well, whatever the number, Migs did a number on Dragon and is on the board at 43-48.
very nice. Solski getting some nice power bombs there, actually, because he was running a bit low. It did skip by Maridia and is heading to Kraid now, so we're going to see a third boss fight, interestingly.
Yeah.
And I think he's just pushing that hook shot. You know, you find a hook shot, you kind of want to go East Death Mountain, just a high-density option.
Yeah, and Kraid, you know, takes no time at all. This is a really quick check.
You have to do it anyways. It's required.
Yeah. All right, we got it. We got a prom date, or what's going to happen here?
Easy peasy.
Solski doing a little tease there before rejecting Kraid. Solski retakes the lead up 2-1 on bosses at 44-46. In terms of item progression, is in pretty good shape compared to Migs. Migs is going to check right sandpit now and see if this actually pays off for him. He really could use something. Bombos and Red Shield are the only good things he's really come up with. And okay, the money behind Dragon isn't bad. That's Zora money, but still. Well, high jump boots, not required, but very nice.
That'll certainly help speed Migs up in some places, you know, like Wreck Ship. It's not terrible, but, you know, you wanted to see something required here, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Malacris in chat's got it right. Quality of life, but space covers. Yeah. For sure.
Ooh, Migs going for that plasma. Looks like it.
Respect the effort.
Now, I don't think Migs is saved, so he needs to be pretty careful.
Yeah.
With his health going through this plasma room. He's already taking some damage from these shoots. But I'd say, you know, making this play on plasma is pretty good. You know, he didn't find too much here, so he's hoping that this turns up something so that he can take an advantage, because you know, Solski may not end up checking this location. It looks like he's going to farm a little bit just to make sure he has the health to get through, because you can do pseudo screws, or you can do some shine sparking to get through here, and we've seen some short charges from Migs already.
So Solski is finally back in A Link to the Past after spending about the last 30 minutes or so in Super Metroid. And
so just an E-tank and plasma there, so I guess kind of helped Migs get the health up anyways, but it was still a good choice to farm. Now he's just shine sparking all these pirates to get out. Solski's going for that EDM play, East Death Mountain, super dense. Gonna check out, I guess, Spectacle Rock, and could potentially go to Hera. first, but again, as you mentioned, no fire source. Could
Right. Yeah. So Meg's having a little trouble here with his shine sparks. He's got to be careful. He's burned through over half of his health doing this and taking some damage.
I think he's just got this one pyre left. No, he's got one more on the wall, I guess.
Yeah, there's one more. There it is. Nicely done by Migs. All right, so Solski is going to at least take a peek into Tower of Error. No reason not to. It's crystal. You might as well do it while you're here, especially. And he is capable of doing the bomb skips. So worst comes to worst. Yep, basement required.
Yep, we're gonna go ahead and do that hair pot to just move on by. So that's excellent for Solski. That kind of worked out this way. There might be an item in that big chest. That's the one thing that could be an issue here, but I like the play. It's a 5/6 crystal as well, which is pretty. Oh no, maybe it's not. Never mind. Swamp and Thieves are 5/6. My bad.
Yeah, it was. That's right. Okay. Solski kind of briefly forgetting, and yep, the big chest is an item. Yeah, so Meg's now heading to Kraid, having survived the gauntlet that is Maridia and Plasma.
Real nice
There it is.
fight. So, gonna get finally our first crystal of the game and a lamp. Wow.
Well,
there's the fire source you needed.
So that means the fire rod's got to be somewhere.
Mm-hmm. That's actually pretty interesting and informative. I have a pendant to the woods, but TR is required.
This happened yesterday. It was in the big chest, but not in the big chest, but in the big key location in Tower of Error. That was where the lamp was yesterday. Fire rod was it? Oh, fire rod I think was in Thieves Town or something. Can't remember. We're gonna have a prom dance here. Here goes Kraid.
Yep, 2 Super Metroid bosses down for Migs. You know, he's not been turning up a lot here, especially with that Maridia play. So you can imagine that, you know, Gauntlet and Criteria Power Bombs and all of Wreck Ship are probably on his mind right now. He's also left the 230 missiles and Bomb Chorizo behind, so there's a bottle available and the plasma available that he can go pick up.
Yeah, so see if all this work pays off for Solski.
Yeah, he has to reset the dungeon here because I think he got a drop from a mini Moldorm. That kind of screws things up with this Harapot, so he's trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. Kill these enemies, get them out of the way.
So Big's now heading into Upper Norfair.
Yep, probably gonna get this half magic here. We saw Solski get at the high jump area. Big chest and Hera, just 20 rupees, but, you know, good to be thorough. Make sure you don't leave anything behind when you have the ability to check everything.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Now, Solski's going to do the rest of East Death Mountain. That's 8 checks there.
Yeah, what's kind of interesting here is we still haven't found our Moon Pearl. So unless that pops... True,
gloves.
No gloves. I mean, with a Moon Pearl, we can actually get to the Dark World logically through Aghanim. So,
right.
Or Maridia, for that matter. And that might be on Solski's mind. Well, there's your glove!
All right, well, that solves one immediate problem. But unfortunately, and that also opens back an escape up, so that might be Solski's next play after he's done here.
Now we also see a very aggressive play from Migs as Solski finds the Variasuit. Migs is going to do some hell running in Norfair, so finds his first bottle at Bubble Mountain Missile.
Oh, so Solski, yeah, just continuing to clean up here in a big way. Now has Variasuit, now has Power Gloves off the East Death Mountain checks. Migs, yeah, do the hell runs and try and restock, but
yeah, it looks like you know, staying in logic is kind of prevailing in this situation. I mean, Migs might still be able to get ahead of Solski on some of these checks, but you got to think Solski not finding the Moon Pearl really for Dark World access is going to be going to Super Metroid and pretty much clearing it out, because we do have Space Jump, we do have Gravity, we do have Varia now, so we can do all of Lower Norfair and Maridia. And yeah, even with Mirror, we could get into Desert. We can do some interesting plays here.
Yeah, this is really opening up for Solski. And logic ultimately prevailed yesterday for Solski. The checks he made paid off big because he followed the logic. Migs gambled a bit more, and it long term ended up hurting him, unfortunately. And Kragon is correct. Zora is now in logic.
Well, we did have the flippers fairly early, so we could get there.
That's true. Yeah,
through Hylia, but yeah, it's very much an option for these guys. I don't foresee them checking it anytime soon. Maybe Migs could consider it, you know, after he does his hell running here in Norfair. But I do like some of these plays that Solski's making, doing some kind of quick cleanup in Link to the Past, just to make sure that his opponent may not have just snagged some sweet item in Link to the Past that he might have missed out on. So just kind of de-risking some of these locations.
Yeah, he's gonna do Lumberjack, and wouldn't be surprised if his next move is to just get Sick Kid out of the way.
Yep. But he's most certainly thinking about you know, Super Metroid at this point. Like,
oh yeah,
that's probably next on the list, I would imagine. I mean, he doesn't even have enough rupees for Zora right now, so he could do some flippers checks, but then he may have to leave Zora behind.
Yeah, he's 150 rupees short. There are some places where he can farm and get himself back up to 500, but that might, as you say, given the potential density still in player. Well, there's our third medallion.
Okay.
We are not getting a medallion end game here. Could be looking at kind of a Fire Rod Canis Samaria end game at this point. Those are the two major items we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we're also missing our ever-elusive hammer, which can be a pretty big deal, and the Moon Pearl. So a lot of Link to the Past items still at large here. And there's the Wave Beam. That puts that charge in logic.
So It's an interesting place to have to backtrack from if you were following that kind of strict logic. And Solski is going back to Super Metroid. Yeah, a fortuitous E-tank, I suppose, for Solski. Not for Solski, for Migs, excuse me. Getting himself back up, so he doesn't have to worry too much about hell runs.
Yeah, and a great mock ball there to get out of pantry. Really nice. You see Solski going towards the ice beam checks, and we might see this kind of route cleanly down to Croc, and if that's the case, he will be able to get that Quake Medallion.
Yeah. So a couple of timely E-tanks giving Migs a little bit of a boost here in terms of health. Now he's heading towards Ice Rod Cave and Ice Rod, not Ice, Ice Beam. Yeah, Ice.
Yep, I feel like these are pretty free checks, honestly, at this point for Migs. We've already seen him go for kind of more dangerous options in terms of hell running.
Yeah.
And now he has plenty of health after those E-tanks. You don't really lose any time doing these hell runs as long as you have the prerequisite health to get through these areas.
Right.
Because they're kind of quick to get to anyways. So these are generally pretty strong sequence breaks. Yeah, without the Varia there.
So, yeah, so we've reached the 1 hour mark. Solski in a pretty comfortable lead, I would say, largely based on what he picked up at Wrecked Ship, giving him the hook shot and the ice rod. Have got him in really good shape, and he's picked up a couple of other key items along the way, notably the plasma beam. And it's going to be a while if Migs, if ever, gets to that, given its location and his general routing. He's been a little more aggressive and has been taking more chances with some of the sequence breaks.
Yeah, I could foresee Migs maybe heading to the actual criteria portal and just routing in 230 and bomb Torizo at that time, and then heading over to criteria power bombs and wreck ship. That could be a pretty clean route to just clean up those locations. So maybe look out for that option. But Migs is probably also going to be considering the gauntlet too. So it'll be interesting to see how he routes through this.
Mm-hmm. So Migs is going to save the old man, and he is capable of doing the skip at Tower of Harry. Did it yesterday, so he'll get his lamp, and that'll help him. But he's going to.
He doesn't have the hook shot, unfortunately.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, so he's SOL then.
And he doesn't have the mirror because that's in Gauntlet. So right now he's actually not able to even get to Tower of Hera or Death Mountain.
Right. Got it. Yeah. So yeah, this is unfortunate for Migs. Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing at Spectacle Rock. I forgot he didn't have the mirror.
Yeah, but in a way, it might actually be fortunate because it'll point him towards where he needs to go, which is wreck ship, and that's kind of where the seed is pushing you. It's looking like this lower Norfair play is going to be more and more important.
Yeah, Solski, that's got to be his next play.
Yeah, he might be able to route in Bubble Mountain afterwards, so he might just head straight to lower Norfair, and I think that's what he's doing. I probably would have farmed up maybe a few more supers, but I guess we got Plasma Beam and Charge, so I guess he's comfortable with this beam combo. Makes sense, I guess. Ooh, we're gonna see a lob spark here. He tried.
Well, yeah, Solski in the driver's seat right now. He's got Charge Wave Plasma. Finds that ice beam, he is set. Solski has space jump. He can actually do this the intended way, if you will.
Yeah, you can do some Crystal Flash clip shenanigans to get to this GT missile item, but that's extremely difficult, and I don't foresee anybody in this tournament actually pulling that off. So, I mean, when you have space jump, you just kind of go this way in order to get these items and make these checks, and you get to save your supers and not do the green gate glitch. I know both of these players are fully proficient at being able to do that, but you might as well just kind of route it in cleanly.
And Miss Metroid asking, Migs did Dragon? He did indeed. That was his first boss, actually. I think there's a magic cape up there.
Yeah, and we're seeing these flippers checks from Migs, which are new checks, so this could give him some sort of advantage over Solski. We'll have to see what turns up here.
Well, there's a red mail, not unwelcome. And yeah, he really needs something to come out of this. No books, no literacy for our players.
Oh, vanilla screw attack? Nice.
Fred.
Mind.
Fred. Yeah.
You know, it looks like we got Ether for Misery Mire, but Solski won't be able to do that until he gets that Moon Pearl. So even though he has the medallion and probably pretty happy for it, not really going to happen. Going to clean up Checkerboard and Agina here as well.
Might also do Desert Ledge while he's at it.
I would probably do all a desert, honestly. It is a green pendant, so you kind of get a little bit more out of it than a normal pendant dungeon. And it's just so time-consuming to come back to this area of the world. If your Moon Pearl is indeed there, then it could be really important to do.
Yeah, so we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, Migs unfortunately not getting anything out of the flippers checks, deciding that he wants to go to Wreck Ship now, I think. Unfortunately, missing still out on those plasma and bottle. I mean, I guess he doesn't really need the bottle because he got another one, but plasma would be nice, kind of coming in this area.
Yeah. Desert Ledge. Well, he needs that so he can get scammed by Zora. So so the grapple beam was in waterfalls, so that's potentially useful for Migs. Although he's already been to Maridia, so if he really wants to do Shack Tool.
Yeah, I don't foresee him prioritizing that after all the value he's going to get here in Wreck Ship.
Well, probably not, yeah.
Unless he feels behind and thinks he needs to make a play to try to catch up.
He hasn't been peppered with the deaths that really hurt him in yesterday's match. He had 4 deaths in pod yesterday, and that really put him in a bad spot. And I think he was pressing a little bit, trying to make up for that, and he made some plays that maybe he wouldn't have otherwise. He really was trying to just find his way through and really push forward, and ultimately I think it hurt him down the stretch.
Awesome speedball there to get to Fantoon's room here. Could potentially see some X factors for Migs if he so chooses. Could be kind of neat.
Yeah. Nothing so far in desert. If going to finish the job. Yes, he is.
Yeah, again, green pendant, and there's an item on Landmo. It kind of just makes sense to follow through on this, and while you won't be able to turn in that green pendant right away, just coming back here is just way too annoying. It's just too difficult.
Yeah.
Pretty solid
Very
phase
nice.
2. Yeah.
So they are back to even now on the bosses. At 108.43, it's 3-3. It's 3 Super Metroid bosses for Migs and 2 and 1 for Solski, and just one cycled Landmos. And well, that's not exactly progression. But it's going to make Ganon a lot easier.
Definitely a strong item to find before you have to head into the Dark World and beat all those dungeons. So it'll just make things go a lot quicker later on. So I like it.
Yeah.
And again, just being thorough here, I think tends to be rewarding, and I think that's the case here for Solski. Gonna go for a Super Bunny through the Meyer Shed. Certainly a good idea. See if you can collect these items and sequence break something, maybe get some information.
Well, he got up to 10 hearts. I suppose that's something.
Yeah.
His health was hard to come by in yesterday's, not to the point where it really would have concerned them, but they didn't have red mail either yesterday, and I think Solski, when the match ended, had like 11 hearts, I want to say. Migs, I think, had less than that. He might have had 9.
Yep, but as expected, Solski is here and is going to be finishing up Lower Norfair, has Screw Attack and Space Jump, so a lot of these rooms that can be pretty challenging are fairly free now. Should be able to get through no trouble. Doesn't have the high jump. That would help probably a little bit, because especially with Speed Booster, not having high jump, your jump height is stunted and you don't get to the mobility that you want, but still doing a great job so far.
Yeah, this is pretty pretty straightforward for Solski. Says no thanks to the heart container.
Meg's making the right call and just being thorough here in Wreck Ship to get that progression, because while Ice Rod's nice, it's not really helping you make any progression right now. And once he sees that hook shot, he might be a little upset, but it'll still put him on the right path.
Yeah. Right now, Solski got his last boss that counts at the 50-minute mark, so he's been spending the last 20 minutes or so really just kind of setting himself up for that next run of bosses. And Ridley will probably be the first of a few, depending on what he ends up drawing out of Lower Norfair plus Bubble Mountain. Well, technically not required, but sure nice to have.
Yeah, Spring Ball, fantastic item. Save you some seconds here and there in Super Metroid, and still got Maridia to peek through, and even useful kind of in pieces of this Lower Norfair as well. Using some pretty cool Shine Spark strats to get rid of these pirates, save himself a little bit of time and ammo, or time charging up all those shots. So great moves there from Solski.
All right, so Solski with Charge Wave and Plasma should not have any trouble with Ridley, and he's got plenty of supers on top of that.
Yeah, Super is definitely the faster form of DPS here, but since he doesn't quite have enough, probably going to augment that with some charge shots here. Should be a pretty free fight.
Meanwhile, Solski, Migs is going bowling.
We know Migs does still need to get to the gauntlet and get his mirror. It is 100% required.
Yes.
We do know that Swamp is a crystal, and in fact, it is a 5/6 crystal, so it makes it even more valuable to have that mirror.
Very clean fight from Solski, taking down Ridley at 113.44.
Great fight. We're even on Super Metroid bosses, but Solski does have kind of a jump start in some of the Link to the Past. So Migs is gonna have to make some plays to catch up.
Yeah, it's 4-3 on the bosses right now. Solski up on that crystal, plus he's done desert on top of that, so he's actually finished 5 dungeon/boss areas.
Yep, it shouldn't be the Maridia play shouldn't be understated though. Maridia does take a bit of time, but so does Lower Norfair, so you can kind of equate those as we see Solski kind of cleaning up those locations. So we shall see.
All right, so now he is going to Criteria Powers and Gauntlet. So this is good for this is very good for Migs, especially getting that mirror is going to be really big for him. And
yeah, little does he know about Plasma, so he's going to go ahead and grab that Spazer and then probably pick up Plasma pretty soon here.
Yeah.
Maybe be a little sad about it.
Vanilla E-Tank for Solski. Put him up to 8 now. Just a few more item checks here in Lower Norfair before he goes back.
I like the refill here from Migs. It'll be valuable later if he considers Lower Norfair, which, you know, it's looking like these guys are kind of... The game's pushing them towards that. And there's the Moon Pearl right at the end.
So there goes Aga.
Yeah, but you got to think Solski's thinking about Maridia, and he hasn't done it yet. So this actually really works in Solski's favor, in that he can just go into Maridia and then just cleanly route into the Dark World from there.
Yeah,
because we do have the flippers.
Yeah, he can do Swamp. He is still hamstrung. He's still missing out on. So he can do part of. He only do one item in Swamp. Keep forgetting he's got the hammer. Yeah. That stupid hammer.
Yeah, that's going to be an important one. It'll be interesting to see where that pops up, but, you know, you can get to a lot of things through the Maridia portal here. There's a lot of options with flippers and hookshot. You just pretty much have the whole world at your disposal.
Wave Beam, just some missiles. So we've got 5 more checks, I think, in Norfair that we haven't seen in Bubble Mountain. So I don't think Migs did them.
I don't believe so. Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah. Is Pet alive? Yeah. Let me see.
It is, but it's maybe a little too early to be thinking about that. I mean, you could have Red Cane there. You could
Hammer could
have a
be
hammer there. Yeah, that would be a wacky one. And honestly, we're not that far away from go mode.
Flute!
You can have mitts there as well.
Yeah, actually we could. So there's the flute. For Solski at Speed Booster.
There's plasma for Migs, just kind of catching up on these final criteria checks. But now that he's got it all done, I'm sure he's going to be thinking about the Death Mountain play.
Hammer.
Oh.
The arrow of truth.
Oh, I guess he hasn't done Old Mother Brain. Oh, and there's a bow.
Oh.
Norfair Reserve. Wow. So Migs dodged all the good stuff here in Upper Norfair, unfortunately.
Yeah, no kidding.
Solski's route has been just so clean and efficient, just based on where the items have fallen. It's really worked out well for him.
Yeah, he's been really in control. It's about like the 25-30 minute mark. Really, actually, I think once he found that mirror and then did that run through Upper Bryn, that really set the stage for him, and kind of he hasn't looked back since. He's really been in control here.
Migs just trying to get these boyons out of the way so he can move on. Yeah, sometimes you just want to kill those enemies. Just 3 power bombs will do the trick. Here we go, Solski heading up towards Maridia now.
So it shouldn't take him too long to get rid of Dragon. From there, honestly, based on what we've seen, most of the checks have been taken care of in one form or another.
Solski hasn't been to Zora area yet, so hasn't picked up that grappling beam. So, I mean, check tool can still be looming here, but when you have all of the Dark World available to you, I think that's going to be the priority.
Yeah. So now Migs, armed with hookshot and mirror, is going to clean out East Death Mountain. Solski getting his 3rd medallion, so he's all set there.
Migs with a really nice Waffle House drive-through there, maintaining speed through that area. Oh, we're going to see some hovering here from Migs. Nicely done.
He was successful at that, fairly successful at that yesterday. Did that pretty well a couple of times.
Very cool. Alright, so we'll see where Migs heads from here, but I imagine it's maybe lower Norfair, or maybe he'll clean up Hera, like we saw Solski do.
It makes sense. Migs couldn't even do Tower of Hera, so... Ooh.
Going for something else. Back of escape. Okay, that makes sense. Just having picked up the glove in Paradox.
Solski finding out that the left sand pit was a bust.
Yeah, it's actually pretty decent to check these sand pits right now, to see if there's any value, because if you're going to use the Maridia portal, you want to get a read on if you want to jump in here and grab an important item like the hammer or whatever, before you take that Maridia portal, since it's a lot closer to Dragon. And we may even see Solski do a save after Dragon and then potentially reset. Now, we know the high jump boots are here, so he may want those, but he doesn't actually have a lot of Super Metroid to play left. So I'm not sure if this is worth it, honestly.
Yeah. It's nice to have, you know.
Certainly.
Yeah. And
it's just that you have to route all the way around in order to get back.
Yeah, not ideal, but an acceptable time sink, I think, in Solski's mind.
Yeah, maybe we'll see a swag full halfie or something coming up here.
Go.
Migs gonna grab that bow here in Norfair Reserve, so that's good. And a single layer to go with it. We should see some fun microwave strats here coming up on Botwoon from Solski. As Migs grabs that flute.
Solski, armed with his plasma beam, is going to have a much quicker go of this through Dragon than Migs did, and you know, this shouldn't take long at all. Migs now heading towards Wave Beam.
Yep, and he might just be able to go straight down into Lower Norfair after this, since he's cleaned up all the other Upper Norfair areas. So, at least, you know, this route looks fairly efficient for Migs to get on through.
It works out, and you know, as it was, unlike yesterday where Migs did Lower Norfair without space jump or screw attack, so he really had to press and really make this work. This is going to be a much simpler route for him, comparatively speaking. He was really behind the 8-ball for most of it.
Nice microwave from Solski, and that's all 4 Super Metroid bosses down for Solski, so he's making pretty good time on Super Metroid here.
Yeah, 127.30 for Solski. So that is up 5-3 right now, and could go to Mother Brain right now if you wanted and finish this off. It's not optimal routing, but hey, you can do it.
Yeah, I would probably hold out for Ice Beam. Just hope that you might be able to find that along the way while you're doing your Link to the Past checks.
Yeah, yeah.
And here's the save I was talking about. So he
Right.
tends to go to Plasma, and now that he's beat Dragon, he's gonna save here, and then if Plasma's nothing, which we know it is, just an E-Tank, then he'll be able to reset back here and then take the portal back. Really nice Chronic boost there from Migs. Going through Lava Dive. And he's going to eventually get that Moon Pearl and take out his final Super Metroid boss.
So that'll put him back within 1 on the bosses. Still pretty far, but still a pretty significant amount of time behind, I'd say, overall. But still, you know, we'll see how the Dark World dungeons play out, and if there's some there's some open-endedness to this. You know, who goes where and what they end up grabbing, and when could have a fairly significant impact, especially if somebody hits go mode about 10 minutes ahead of the other.
Yeah, I think based on how the items have fallen and based on how Solski's routed, he's probably feeling pretty good right now, and
Yeah.
his route has worked out pretty well. So I would expect him to play fairly conservatively and do like Palace of Darkness after Maridia, and then, you know, route cleanly over to Village of Outcasts. But I could easily see a play over to Village of Outcasts first and then loop in Pod later. It's just a matter of choice.
I kind of like this. I kind of like going for the Village of Outcasts, Thieves Town kind of play. Yeah, he can't get the item behind the big chest, but possibly doesn't even need to. So, plus he can kind of loop this around and do a decent amount of Dark World checks as it is.
Yeah, I mean, you could rush towards Hype Cave or something, hope your hammer's there so that you could get a full clear on Swamp, but
Right.
that hammer is really what's gating them and being able to full clear a lot of things right now.
Yeah, that's
locking
out.
Thieves, which is fine at this stage in the game, but it's hard to say what's correct.
The lack of the hammer in the immediacy is locking out 2 crystals, Pod and Swamp, and it could be holding out on the item in Thieves Town. But yeah, and the Titan's mid is locking out the other 3 crystals.
You're gonna take advantage of the mirror here with some clever routing to get this hobo check in, and potentially, you know, route Pyramid Catfish into Zora, which would be a nice route. But you want to kind of preserve your portal, so you may see him end up walking out of that area, or he could route into Pod here, or he could go over to Village of Outcasts. There's like a lot of great options for him at this point.
A lot of choices, and you know, I think is going to go make a run. Oh, I think he's going to do Sarsaparilla.
Great time to turn in that green pendant and route in Palace of Darkness. I mean, Palace of Darkness has 5 items, and we're still missing enough stuff from Go mode that there's a good chance something is here. We definitely need another glove. We need the hammer. We need the red cane. We need the fire rod. So, and you know,
well,
green pendant coming up big.
Yeah, boy. So that just that's like, okay, I'm doing Pod now.
That is huge, and you know, Migs is in desert right now, so let's hope that he follows through, gets his tempered sword off of Land Molus, and goes for that hammer, because that hammer is 100% required.
How long, though, before he ends up turning in said green pendant? It could be a while yet. He's going to do Ridley before he does that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I could foresee him turning that in before he decides to go back through Maridia to get to the Dark World, and that could actually pay off pretty well for Migs because then he doesn't have to route through Maridia to get to the Dark World. He'll just have Dark World access after he turns it in.
Right.
So that could give him a little bit of time back.
Yeah, it saves him a double dip, that's for sure, and it's pretty convenient, but it's one of many steps he'll have to do. And Solski is underway in pod and is just barreling through everything.
Migs going back into the portal here. I really hope he follows through on this desert play. It's very critical for him to do this.
Literacy.
Man, these guys are nailing that Super Bunny and stuff. These guys are playing really strong. Love it. This could spell doom for Migs because he is not completing desert here.
Yeah, it's really, really bad, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, where was Flute again? Oh, he's got Flute. He's got Flute. So if he ends up with Titan's Mitts somewhere, that'd be good. But
right,
that would save him a little bit of agony. But that's relatively speaking.
and you don't expect him to come back to desert immediately, even if he does get mitts. You know, you're gonna clear all of Dark Death Mountain. You're gonna go into the Kakariko portal, and you're gonna do as much as you can there.
Well, at least with
Palace.
At least with literacy in pod, eventually the light switch is going to go on, and he's not going to have to do that whole lower Norfair nonsense.
Oh, I missed this. Okay, chat bringing up a fantastic point here. Thank you guys. Migs can't beat Landmolus right now.
Oh,
he doesn't have a fire source, which presently is like technically that hammer is out of logic right now. We still need the fire rod to put all this together. That Harapot came up huge for Solski. It's enormous.
Yeah, so that still, now that begs the question, where is the fire rod?
I imagine we're going to see it pop up here in the Dark World fairly soon. Unless it's a Shack Tool. Like, that's the only other place it can be.
Yeah. Yeah, because that can't be a pet item because of Skull Woods, but those Titans bits certainly can, though.
Yeah, we're probably gonna see Fire Rod pop up somewhere here in the Dark World. I mean, it could be Mitts locked if we find Mitts first. There's certainly a lot of options. For all we know, Fire Rod could be an Ice Palace. Like, there's a lot of different plays that can be made.
Yeah, they've got Bombos, so they can do most of Ice Palace just based on that alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's full clearable. We actually have a lot of crystals we can complete right now. The world is fairly open. We need Mitts to do Ice Palace, so like if they find Mitts, that's the point. I mean, we have all of Swamp available, but technically you could only find it in the first chest in Swamp because of where the hammer is. Yeah. So the Fire Rod location is kind of limited in that respect.
And then some obvious overworld checks. A digging game yesterday was where the fire rod ended up being.
I think a really trolly location for that could be Misery Mire. That's probably one of the
Yeah.
worst places it can be right now, because I believe that Ether was available, and it could just be kind of in the non-fire locked section of Misery Mire, but we'll just have to see. I mean, Solski's going through the Dark World. I imagine Migs will be doing that soon as well, and just routing through Maridia to get there.
So that's all 4 for Migs. He's down 5-4 now. With Solski about to take on the Helmosaur King.
Yeah, making pretty quick work of this dungeon. Things really working out Solski's way here. We see Solski busting out that mirror, which means we might be seeing him clean up Eastern Palace as well. It's certainly a safe play to make at this point, just to if he's worried that Migs might end up clearing that.
Yeah, one pendant dungeon paid off pretty nicely. Why not go for 2? Oh,
Oh, did he skip something here? Oh, okay. Now I understand why is the mirror out. Okay.
I don't understand.
He was just worried he forgot it or something.
Yeah, apparently.
There we go. He is going to Eastern. Always good to double check, make sure you got everything you want. Alright, so Mig's gonna find that Moon Pearl here in a second, and that'll probably get the wheels turning in his head. Oh, okay, I have Dark World access. What a place for that. It's actually quite easy to do a blind pull on pedestal here too. Once you get that fire rod, so maybe Solski's thinking towards that. You know, thinking about the logic and where he's found Lamp, and you know where he got Hammer. Maybe he's putting the pieces of the puzzle together, thinking, maybe I'm gonna find fire rod somewhat soon. Not gonna find it here though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's like, yeah, that's really the critical question. It's like, where's Fire Rod? Because Fire Rod, if for no other reason, then yeah, closes the circle on everything as far as logic is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really the one big skip Solski made, was going for taking care of Tower of Hero when he did, because they got him the lamp off of a Moldorm, and from there,
yeah, he was able to chase that into the desert, get that tempered sword off of Landmo, turn in the green pendant for Hammer, which is huge. Got a nice clean finish on Palace of Darkness, but nothing really of value there. So, potentially something Migs could go mode later. And we are seeing Migs, I think, making the Shack tool play right now on his way to Maridia. So this could also be something interesting for Migs to play off of.
I think that's a good move for him. I can't speak to his mindset, but you know, the way the route has been kind of going for him, he's probably thinking, I really need this. I just need something huge at this point. Like, Titan's Myths showing up here or something.
Oh, this could actually be that fire rod, actually. So,
could be.
If that shows up, I don't know what to say, because that'll probably be one of the last things Solski checks, because he doesn't even have his grapple beam yet. He's probably gonna get it here on his route to Catfish.
Yeah, he will.
And Zora, yeah.
Yeah, Zora was a scam. The waterfall wasn't, though.
Well, we'll see. The waterfall is enabling what Migs is doing right now, which is Shack Tool. But if this is nothing, then I mean, grapple doesn't really do anything for these guys at this point. It'll just give Solski a little bit of anxiety, I guess, over Shack Tool being in logic.
Well, some love from the Catfish.
Doesn't even
moment
kill
of truth.
Oh! Looks like we're gonna get a little delay on our on that Shack Tool play.
Well, it's
the old mushroom. Yikes.
Well, it's not a bust, and it's not something bad, but, well, we don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. We haven't found powder either, and we haven't found red cane, so it's like, do you really save that for later? I don't think you do. Once Migs, exits Maridia into the Dark World, which he's kind of going up through this path to get there. He could actually cleanly route that in with Catfish and turn that in. So we will likely see that, because it is something he has that he might expect Solski not to have gone for.
At this point, as far as he's concerned, that's exactly what he's hoping for, because given his current state of affairs, like, he really needs this to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Solski is, what do you think, Swamp or Thieves Town?
I think he's going to hookshot across, and he's just going
to
continue playing very thoroughly with his checks, because I think that's paid off for him already in his route, and you got to think he's feeling pretty good right now. So if he's just playing relatively conservatively and checking all these locations, then he's gonna eventually find the progression. Now, that mushroom is still something that is looming over our heads. I think Migs knows it, and he's heading there right now.
Solski scores with the fire rod in King's Tomb.
Wow. There it is.
Wow. Now that's a twisted bit of logic, using not even myths required. Alright, time for a drug deal.
Yeah, this is a big deal for Migs. If this turns up with Mitts or Red Cane, I think it could be anybody's game. But right now, Solski has a solid lead.
Why do you do this to us, Seed? Come on. We asked for one thing in life.
Well, Solski definitely in the driver's seat right now. He's got a lot of good progression, and it's only a couple items from Go mode.
Yeah, he's Red Cane and Titan's Myth from flipping the switch here. And going into Skull with it. Honestly, I would just go straight to the pedestal and just get this over with.
Yeah. Well, he's just gonna go ahead and make these checks, because it might make the rest of the Skull play kind of trivial. So I don't think it's terrible, but yeah, he's just gonna check every location, make sure that he can de-risk any of the stuff.
Yeah, you
You throw.
can sleep a little better at night.
Mm-hmm. Now, Migs is going to pick up that Fire Rod here shortly. But,
Yeah.
you know, when you pick up Fire Rod, you don't immediately think of Landmolus. That's not what I think of when I immediately pick up Fire Rod. And getting there is a pain.
If anything, the first thing he's going to be thinking of is Tower of Hera.
Right. Or Skull Woods, which he's right next to. So I imagine we'll see that play.
All the good stuff is in the back of Skull Woods. Solski won. Oh. Here's a, you know, well, I was gonna say, like, this was kind of hinging on whether or not he checked before he goes in there, but what if it was Ice Beam? Would you go for that if you're Solski?
I mean, at this point, I think he's just gonna do a blind pull. Like, you have the other two pendants, and
Yeah.
just meme it up for the fans.
Well, why not? Give the fans what they want. Although, really, though we haven't done this long enough, we know the fans want, you know, pain, suffering, and all kinds of, you know, torture. But short of that,
Yeah, and again, you got to be thinking that Solski's feeling pretty good about how his route has paid off, including the sequence break through Hera to get that lamp.
yeah,
Like to get his hammer. Yeah,
that was the big one, I think, for him. That's really what propelled him.
So you just check everything and keep pushing your lead. Really great moth from Solski, and now he's got all 3 pendants. So we'll see how he approaches this pedestal.
Well, as you said, he's already got all 3. Might as well just, you know, do it for the fans. Blind pull.
He's got that book out. It is faster to check the pedestal instead of pulling it, unless it's required.
No. Big bada boom.
Yeah, I believe that's a power bomb pack. Lots more hovering there from Migs. Get to that big chest in Skillwood, so he's kind of following the same path here, but he just doesn't have the wealth of items that Solski has from the sequence breaking.
Okay, so on we go to Village of Outcasts in Thieves Town. Can't do everything, but can certainly finish out the dungeon itself, give him his 3rd crystal. It's hard to believe we're at practically at the 2-hour mark, and we only have 2 crystals from Solski. It's been one of those seeds.
Yeah, but we can actually full clear 2 more crystals, which opens up Pyramid Fairy as well. So, actually 3 more. Oh no, we don't have a red cane for Meyer, my bad. So, yeah, 2 more crystals here, and we still haven't seen Hype Cave. So there's still that option, and I imagine, you know, Solski will route Village of Outcasts, Thieves Town, all the way down towards Hype Cave and Swamp. It is a very nice route. Like, everything's kind of worked out his way, and will continue to, it seems.
Cane behind Pyramid Fairy? Sure, why not? And Ether Tablet, yes, that's also a possibility. Silver Arrows makes a couple of upcoming boss fights pretty irrelevant. Argus and Vitreous are going to be pretty easy to take out now. Not that they weren't already gonna be, but
even faster. It doesn't hurt.
especially
Well,
when it's gonna.
I guess it hurts them.
Well, yeah, they're gonna get hurt, but and chat bringing up a interesting paradox. Chat wants torture for the runners, except we're happy to see silvers.
It's always fun to see those silvers come up.
Yeah. Maybe it's a symbolic thing or something. Yeah.
Everybody loves the periodic table.
Pedestal had power bombs.
Nice key dash there from Solski, and we'll see how he handles this hell away. Beautiful. Everything got out of the way.
Why can't it ever do that for me?
Sometimes the game giveth, sometimes the game taketh.
Mostly on the taketh, I think.
Now, Solski has completed, a bunch of extra crystals, but it is kind of crazy to see these guys kind of sync up in the Village of Outcasts, Thieves Town area here, approaching the 2-hour mark. Kind of wild to see that.
I think with a lot of this, it's like everything kind of evens out at the end. Eventually, everything has to kind of center in on the same spot. That's just kind of the way it works. Well, in Migs' case, he's still missing some big-time items here, and it is going to affect his ability to proceed.
And interestingly, did decide to skip out on Thieves Town without that hammer. Pretty hard to get back to that location, unless he intends to go beat Desert Palace and turn in that green pendant to get the hammer. So hoping to maybe find some mitts here, or the hammer, which we know he won't get on this path.
Yesterday, Migs was more about the overworld checks versus the dungeon checks, and he's been fairly consistent in that today. So, and he's still playing a few extra items behind on Go mode, so that might be informing that decision. But meanwhile, Solski grabbing his third crystal at 156.43.
And if nothing turns up in Hype Cave for Migs, I wouldn't be surprised to see him make the play into the first Chested Swamp as well.
Yeah.
So here we go, Hype Cave. 5 checks as Solski activates that flute. Starting off strong with some power bombs, and there's the mitts.
Oh. All right.
So that might be the
So-
best case scenario for Migs at this point. I mean, he is going to do Dark Death Mountain, but, you know, that allows him to get to Desert a lot faster, at the very least. At least the mitts are not locked behind the hammer. But we could see him make plays like going into Ice Palace, which could kind of throw him off the trail, doing Smith Chain, things like that.
Yeah, Green Pendant might not be his first or even his like fifth thought at this point. Now the mitts have opened up a lot for him, which is good. But based on what we know, it's down to one. It's down to essentially one item. That's the Cane of Samaria.
Yep, and honestly, that might be good for Migs if this Cane of Samaria pops up here, because that'll lead him to the Mire area. And if he finds nothing in Mire, then it might be logical for him to go ahead and complete Desert Palace. He also has Tower of Hera while he's up here on Death Mountain, so we might see that play as well. And yeah, it could push him in the right direction. You'd be like, oh, I got a bunch of fire sources now. Maybe we can go do Desert.
All right. And then some money and a nope tank at Super Bunny.
All right, Hookshot Cave, 4 more checks. Full heart. Very healthy, this scene.
It took him long
bottom.
enough.
Nothing.
So yeah, okay, Solski's gonna check Bombos. That's a good idea. So at the 2-hour mark, Solski is a Cane of Samaria away from go mode and flipping the switch here. He's up 3 bosses on Migs. Migs is down 7-4. He's done all the Super Metroid bosses, but it's yet to do an actual crystal. Although that may well change shortly.
Yeah, agreed. I think he is heading to Thieves Town right now, which is pretty logical play in his position.
Yeah, he might do the Smith chain first, or at least enough of it to. Well, he can do the Smith chain. He can't do anything else. So. The 5-6 crystals are Swamp and Thieves.
Yeah, so we're probably going to see Solski clean up this Swamp Palace entirely, and then head to Pyramid Ferry from here. Pretty good loop around the world here from Solski to clean up all this Dark World. And from there, you know, probably just step right into Ice Palace, because we can clear that dungeon entirely now that we have the mitts. And Fire Rod or Bombos should do the trick with the hammer in tow, so
Yeah,
really just continuing to clear all those crystals.
Red Cane's got to be in one of them, so unless it's an overworld check we haven't seen yet, but you know, logic says it's got to be in one of those locations.
Right. I mean, we still have Spike Cave and Ether Tablet, as was mentioned earlier, and then we also have Mire itself. You can have a vanilla Red Cane, so there's still some options out there. And I think Smith Chain is still available with hammer pegs as well, which if Migs does indeed do Smiths and Purple Chest, he will have to leave behind those hammer pegs.
Got some other suggestions. Could be Purple Chest, could be Cane on Powder. Purple Bat, yikes. Or Magic Bat, excuse me. That's like, woof.
But right now, Solski's definitely in the right place. This is his highest density option, and it opens up 2 more checks at the pyramid, so I do like the play.
Yeah.
And he was right here anyways. He kind of looped this route in perfectly.
Yeah, it's like it's very convenient, and you might as well. Looks like he's going to skip left side for later and do just finish off the crystal first, and hope that he gets red cane.
Yeah, I like this choice since you're one item from go mode. If you find it here in the back, then you don't even have to worry about the west wing of Swamp, and if there are items over there, then you definitely go back. Because, again, he's been playing pretty conservatively and making sure that he gets through every check. I mean, he did check the pedestal after all and get all the pendants, so I suppose it would make sense to check everything from here on out.
And there's regular bombs. A little late for that, but... so far, a fair amount of money and some regular bombs, but not a whole lot else.
Solski going for this one cycle. Pretty good effort there. Migs getting a little off script there towards the end of the blind fight, but both these guys taking down their bosses with no trouble. And there's the big key for Solski, so he can jump back in, kind of route the big chest into the left side cleanly.
So remains a 3-boss advantage for Solski. He's up 8-5. As Migs gets his first crystal at just over the 2-hour mark.
And here's a couple new checks from Migs, grabbing that frog. So we'll see if Red Cane turns up here, because that might push him to do Meyer pretty quickly.
Yeah, it might.
One more item on the left side of Swamp, so Solski's going to follow through on this.
Just 5 bomb upgrade for Migs.
And again, Migs does not have the ability to do the hammer pegs right now. No hammer. Gotta beat Desert to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and activate that flute and then take the purple chest down there. And Migs is going to go ahead and also just dash over here without doing any mirror warping. And he'll be able to turn in that purple chest no problem. As long as you're basically on the same screen as the purple chest guy, then you should be good to go. Doesn't matter that he has left it behind. He'll be able to get the turn in. It's a nice little speed up. And it's a mirror shield.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that one.
And Migs with a couple of with a frank exchange with Gary there.
Yep, and now we got Solski heading over to Pyramid Fairy as expected, doing some damage boosting to get the dashes with the bomb. Picks it up again because he missed his spin speed. There we go.
Right. Is it Pyramid Fairy? No,
Maybe,
but that
maybe.
magic powder could lead to something.
It sure could. So maybe he'll chase that to Smith Chain, maybe he'll go up to Dark Death Mountain, or maybe he'll just jump into Ice. I think those are the solid options here. It looks like he wants to chase that powder right now and get these remaining Village of Outcast checks out of the way. Certainly a fine play. Now I think Migs is probably heading to Palace of Darkness, which he did elect to skip earlier, which, again, is not going to yield anything for him. He really needs to go to Desert and finish that up first. Oh, he's going to the Pyramid, I guess. Alright, and here's these hammer pegs that Migs could not do earlier. It's just a piece of art.
Another vanilla item there, so on to Smithy. Continuing to fall farther and farther behind. He's in real trouble. He really needs to go to Desert Palace.
Yeah, this logic is actually really, really twisted, and that sequence break was just enormous for Solski. I have not seen a Harapot payoff that huge before myself. That's insane.
No kidding. And it wasn't even like an immediate payoff. It was more the realization that it just opened up so much more for him to finish. And by the time it was all said and done, yeah, it's completely blown this whole thing wide open.
Yeah, I don't blame Migs for this. Like, he's following the logic right now, and the game is giving them all of this Dark World to check. It's just not where he needs to be. But eventually he'll make his way there. At some point he's going to run out of options.
Ice Palace now, or no, oh, Dark Death Mountain. Yeah, he hasn't done that yet. And he'll loop Spike Cave and Ether into that while he's at it.
I imagine so, yeah. That'll be perfect. Certainly a higher density than Ice Palace, but, you know, Ice Palace being the crystal, if you find it in there, then you can just, you know, keep clearing the crystals and be done with it.
Yeah.
It's a tough call, but I like the play. I think they're both fine.
Yeah, on the other hand, I think all things being equal, given the icebreaker clip, you'd rather do it with you'd rather do that dungeon with the Cane of Samaria if you can.
Right, yeah. Just speeds things up. I mean, plus, just being in go mode, you don't have to check anything there. You don't have to go to Ice Tea. Ice Tea's always pretty annoying to get to.
it's not the most user friendly dungeon room. So Megs had a whale of a time in the dark maze room yesterday. He died at least a couple of times there. Granted, he has much more health than he did yesterday. I think he only had like 7 hearts when he did it yesterday. He's got 15 now, and he's got red mail. So this will be a little easier, and his arsenal is much better too. I don't think he had a sword when he did it. Alright, so Ether first. Nice fortuitous fairy for Solski.
Yeah, very convenient. I mean, he has the cape anyways, but this was the same with magic. And that blue cane, I suppose. Alright, it's in Spike Cave. No.
So it's Ice Palace or the first half of Misery Mire.
I believe so. Yeah, I think we're down to it.
Solski is going to go with the completable dungeon in Ice Palace. We've seen both tablets now. Neither came up with anything.
Migs going ahead and hitting up Tower of Hera. Makes a lot of sense here.
Yeah, this... One of 3 items for Solski. $20.
Yeah, only 2 more items here in Ice. And we'll probably be seeing that Icebreaker trick coming up here in a second. Just gonna flip the crystal switch.
Can he do that without... He can't do that without...
He can't have the cane. You're right. Fair enough.
Yeah, this seat
this is where you want to know how to hover and bomb jump and stuff still. So I imagine Solski will do a hover here. Nope, gonna go for that bomb jump.
Missed first, he's a little off.
Okay, Mix is in the right part of the world now. This is really good for him. We might see a dip into Mire first. I hope not, but, you know, that might be where the red cane is. Okay, looks like he's going to clean up Landmo. On the right path. Solski gets a key there, so can continue on to the right side of Ice Palace very easily. Gotta watch the health though. Getting a little low.
He's got a couple of things. He's got a couple of spots where he can pick up some health.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and powder this bunny beam.
So, to answer a question in chat, this is round 3 of this tournament, round of 16 to be precise. The winner of this match will face Maniacal in the quarterfinals.
Whew. Talking about running a gauntlet here.
The red sword for Migs and the green pendant. We're still an item short right now.
Yeah, looks like Solski's taking that small key over to Ice-T with a nice bomb jump there. And Mig's gonna get that hammer. Probably not gonna be very happy about it, but you know, at least he can start making some progress and clean up a lot of these dungeons.
Yeah, really, this
and there goes the bombos.
So it's all down to Vanilla Cane.
And Solski's probably worried a little bit about Shaq Tool at this point too, I imagine. You know, he's probably going through all the locations in his head and thinking, ugh, I may have to go back there. But
well,
if he just makes the play to go to Meyer and, you know, you got to find your big key anyways, then, you know, he's going to find that red cane.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's not quite at the point where that's like his first priority, but if by some miracle this actually ends up striking out, then yeah, he would go. That would be probably his first choice. But Solski barrels through Cold Stare and gets boss number 9 at 2:20:45.
Really nicely done. Alright, he's off to Meyer. And Red Cane Go mode's actually pretty nice. Like, you don't have to worry about Turtle Rock and stuff. Like, obviously, you pretty much have to clear the whole dungeon anyways, looking for keys.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about finding any items. You don't have to worry about Mimic Cave. Stuff like that comes nicely. You know, you really want to find Ice Beam, but that could be in Ganon's tower for all you know, and you can always just take out the Metroids with power bombs. So, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Excellent Meyer 2 there, Solski. And Migs not having that lamp from Moldorm yet. Going through in the dark here in Pod. Finish it up.
Yeah, this was a problem again for him yesterday. He had a real hard time getting any traction. And but with 15 hearts, it's less of a problem.
Oh, and there it is. The red cane on the bridge in Meyer. Solski already found the big key in Spike Room, so he's going to go for this hover. Don't think he's going to go for it again. So that is go mode.
Yeah, 2:22:45. Solski has hit go mode.
Solid time, actually. Making a really good time.
Yeah.
For such a crazy logical seed. Like, logic in the seed kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, this this is not something you would normally see. This, if you were playing this normally, I think a lot of players would have given up by now, just out of sheer frustration. Just because it is so twisted and require a couple of double dips along the way. It's like, ugh, who has time for that?
For sure, yeah. The fact that Solski was able to get around having to double dip the Dark World through Maridia was enormous.
So, Migs still one item from go mode, needs the red, needs Can of Samaria. Remains to be seen when he'll get around to it. Solski running a little trouble there. He's going to try this again.
Easy Vitreous fight, just knocking silver arrows in there. Saving some of his arrows for the final phase and for Ganon's tower. So kind of just taking him out with his tempered sword. Good strategy. Knowing how much ammo you have and what you need for later. That's crystal number 6.
So yeah, it's 10-7, 10-6, excuse me. Solski well in control here, on his way now to Turtle Rock and then eventually GT. So should be able to do this in sub 3.
Yeah, I would think so. It's looking pretty good for Solski. Depending on that Ganon's tower big key location, it could even be a sub 250. We'll be close,
Yeah.
though. It'd have to be free.
Yeah, I think if not for what happened yesterday probably would have been a 230, 240 for Solski when it's all set, when it's all said and done. Because I do believe Meyer and Turtle Rock were pendants.
Mm-hmm. But Migs is keeping on chugging through ice. I mean, he's doing his crystals. I like that he's just keeping on going, keeping on. And hopefully he just stays there, because once he gets his red cane and Meyer, then he'll be good to go too.
It'd help him an awful lot if he did Meyer next after this. I mean, I don't know how likely that is, but for his sake, it would be very expedient to do so.
Definitely, you could potentially go mode Swamp, which would be amazing. But you know, when you have a full clearable Swamp, which leads to a Pyramid Fairy, it's quite enticing. So I would suspect that he would do that, but maybe he's feeling behind, so you could see him dip Meyer for that reason, potentially. But, you know, Solski's still very much in the driver's seat here, and looking to take this one.
This is absolutely Solski's to lose at this point. It has been for a while now, and his routing, more than anything, has been absolutely on point throughout the entire match.
All right, front-loaded 2 small keys in the first 3 checks. If Solski gets a big key here at Chain Chomps, could mean pretty fast TR, potentially. Really nice swag cane strats there from Solski in the Chomps room. And he gets the big key, so can grab the small key from the pokey coming up here and potentially skip the big chest. That's a gamble that Solski could make here. Hope to get a small key in Roller Room or on Laser Bridge to get his final key for the dungeon.
Migs on his way down to take on Cold Stare.
Looks like he'll use Bombos to start things off. Keep some Fire Rod shots available. Solski not taking any risk. Oh, okay, he's gonna go for it. Thought about it. But you got pretty good odds that you don't get locked out here. If small key is in vanilla big key chest and in that big chest, then he's gonna have to go back. But you know, you got 5 checks here to find a small key.
Yeah. I think he should be okay based on the way this generally works out, but we'll see. I mean, so number 7 for Migs with Ice Palace. That's 3 crystals now. Looks like he is going to do Swamp next.
Yep, certainly the highest density play he has available, so it makes a lot of sense at this point. But, you know, Meyer would end up saving him pretty much the entirety of Swamp Palace, other than just the boss.
Alright, he's all set. He's going to check the last couple of chests here.
After falling, he'd probably bail, yeah. Alright, we'll see how Solski approaches this try next. And a little hung up there.
And trying to go a little too fast for the game's speed and couldn't quite keep up. But no problem there.
Yep, phase 2 and clean. And that's the final crystal for Solski.
232.04. So, you know what that means, chat. It's that time again. There are 22 possible locations for the big key at GT. What's it going to be today?
I'll say number 1. That's my guess.
Number 1. I'm going to say 16 behind Armus.
Okay, good place. And looks like Migs is going to go ahead and do the West Wing of Swamp. Just invest all the time and clear out the dungeon. I mean, there are items over there. I think he got a dungeon item early, so it makes sense to do this. But again, Red Canes and Mire. Who knew?
What's with all this French vanilla and vanilla crap? I mean, we had screw attack. We had screw attack at vanilla location.
Sometimes you just gotta believe.
I guess, or...
So Solski did get a small key in Room of Hope. Gonna go straight right. Skipping Tile Room, of course. No one likes to do that.
Bank shot there by Solski. Alright, number 3, no, it's missiles. 4, E-Tank. 5, some arrows. Actually, those arrows are not a bad thing to come away with. He only had 10 arrows, so you might just want that little bit of insurance there. So 6 down.
Yeah, those arrows will come in handy in Gauntlet, too. Pretty nice to use silvers there.
7 is a key. There's the ice beam at number 9, so...
Yeah, I'd be pretty happy to find that before my big key there. Because that's a huge speed up in Super Metroid, in the Metroid rooms, and, you know, if Solski's not comfortable with the speed booster Zeb skip, then you can do the ice beams Zeb skip, and it'll save a bunch of time there, too. And more damage from Mother Brain.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm sure he's fine with if it came to non-ice strats, but he's got more than enough power. He's got like 30 of them or something.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Alright, so I think we're on number 13 now. That's a compass. Solski dropping some profanity bombs now.
Oh, is that what those are?
Well, it's certainly sending a message, that's for sure. 14, the burrito. 15, Solski gets it. So...
Yeah, there's really not much he's looking for here. Like, maybe he could get a butter sword, but not really worth it. Tepard's usually enough to get the job done, so doesn't really need to go for those extra checks. He found the ice beam. That was kind of the one outstanding item that could really help him in Super Metroid. So
Wheezy,
up the tower we go.
Wheezy looks like came the closest without going over, and me, but Wheezy wasn't as specific as I was. I said 16 behind Armas, so I will give that to Wheezy.
I do want to say, nice double fire rod spin strats there from Migs on Argus to take him down.
36.52.
We'll see if Migs makes that play over to Meyer. Oh, I guess he needs to go back in for the big chest because Big Key was on Argus.
Yes, it was. So Solski is now underway in the gauntlet and actually get some nice arrow drops, but it's like, nah, I don't need those.
He's kind of just burning through here with Fire Rod.
Hey, why not?
Sense. Got that half magic, might as well use it.
Solski does have a couple of blue potions, so I think he's not too concerned about health, and gets a perfect one-cycle fight.
Really nicely done. Looks like Migs is going to go ahead and go for Tower of Hera before he considers the Meyer play. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Although I guess the only argument against it is, linking Hera and Turtle Rock while on common is pretty sweet if you can pull it off. And in this case, it really wouldn't make a difference other than just, comfort and convenience.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know he could have done that, but
Yeah.
in his shoes, being able to clear Crystal is generally a better idea than trying to go into Meyer and strike out, basically.
Right.
And again, Solski doesn't really need anything at this point in the game, so he's just going to go ahead and blast through the top of Gannis Tower here. Migs is setting up that Hera pot now.
As Zeruvian is correct, like the three things really kind of separated our two runners here: the mirrored gauntlet, the hook shot, which Solski got a lot earlier than Migs, and hammer being the green pendant item. Yeah. That I think that's a pretty astute analysis here, that those three things really are what separated our runners. And added to that, I would say getting Solski doing Hera as well, getting a fire source. I think that's a triple.
Yeah, the Hera pot I think was the big one, because unlocking that hammer as early as he did was extremely powerful to get out of logic. It just let him route cleanly throughout the Dark World and check everything cleanly. Like, everything really just... the way the items fell for Solski just worked out perfectly for him. And that's really what it came down to.
A double, single, so a double, and a double single.
Not bad. And here we go into the Ganon fight. See if we can get a 1-on-1 on Ganon. Not quite, but has a really nice corner pattern for phase 2. So, should be able to clean this up pretty quickly. With Silver's, phase 4 is going to go so fast.
Oh yeah, so yeah. This is going to be cake for Solski. First, he's actually got to get Ganon to stop moving.
Giving him the runaround.
Yeah. There's the double, and that will finish it off. So get out the G's in chat for Solski. Taking down Ganon at 242.27. So he's got a shot at sub 250, but he's got to hustle.
Yeah, it's gonna be. He's probably gonna be a little over 250 here. Usually Turian takes about 7 minutes, and he's on the ship right now. So if he does it, power to him. But it'll be really close. It does have a full beam combo for a great stand-up glitch opportunity here to make Mother Brain go fast. So we'll see. Could get a good baby skip to kind of speed things up too.
Yeah, Solski's certainly capable of that. He's got a pretty. I checked out his tier time. He's got a pretty good time actually for any percentage, just a hair over 50 minutes. So he's a pretty solid vanilla player. So I think he should be capable of this.
Looks like Migs is going to go ahead and finish off Eastern Palace. It's kind of a quick clear, so I can understand that and maybe feeling behind. Just going for that play. It's nothing, but to him, this might be just something to do, to think about the remaining options.
And Chad pointing out sub 3 this seat with all dungeons cleared is impressive, absolutely, and it's credit to the routing, the major sequence break in Tower of Hera. Those two things have really put Solski over the top in this one, and yeah, he's really played well and has really made. I can't think really of any outright mistakes either.
Agreed. Yeah, Solski's been playing it strong the whole way through, and it shows in the execution and the routing and the time here.
Yeah, poor Migs. He's played pretty well too, but some of that routing, it wasn't quite as accurate, and he didn't do the sequence break, and even that probably wouldn't make a whole lot of difference ultimately. But yeah, it really set him back, and kind of seeing kind of the end result. The importance of a well-routed match.
Solski working on this baby skip, nails it. That'll save him a good 30 seconds here.
Yeah. It's funny, yesterday both of them actually did Eastern without a sword, so it was funny seeing them go into the penultimate room, shooting arrows at everything to clear the room out. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Nice Zeb skip there with ice. And just gonna use some missiles to break the glass here. Probably super missiles to finish it all off. Gonna get up close and personal.
Nice little bit of Metroid, original Metroid there. Get up close and shoot at point blank. It's like Migs is gonna do the ped pull, and unfortunately, he's gonna find out that it's power bombs.
That's fine. Hopefully he'll pull for the fans here. I think that's what he's working towards. Yeah, he's gonna do it live. I love it. And there it is, the glorious ped pull, as Solski is setting up for this stand-up glitch. So has 7 tanks full right now, and you can do this with Varia or without Varia, and it's the same result, but you just need to damage yourself down to below 100 energy. It doesn't matter how much you have in reserves, and just make sure that you are kind of jumping as the baby's swooping in there, and then he's good on the kind of the first phase of this stand-up glitch, and then he'll need to make sure that he's not getting forced back to the ground when the baby releases from Mother Brain's head again. You can use X-ray to stand up off of this, but and he has that, but hopefully he just kind of jumps to avoid that. There's that jump to avoid getting forced back to the ground, and he's just going to continue to knock these charge Ice Wave plasma shots into Mother Brain to try to take her out and do as much damage as possible before the final phase. Mother Brain 3. The other thing you kind of want to watch out for are the onion rings. You want them to all hit the baby, so he did miss a couple there. That can slow down things because the baby itself does have health on its own. So if Mother Brain misses the baby, then you might actually be costing yourself time. But does it pretty cleanly. Only missed some onion rings there. Maybe missed a couple charge shots.
Yeah.
Looks like it's just a couple of these hyper beam shots, and Mother Brain 3's down.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to break sub 250, but it's going to be just not. It's not going to be too far over either. So the race is on now.
Edge, the boss of the game right there. The true boss of the game for Solski.
Right, so Migs is just trying to clear everything out that he didn't get to do the first time around because of the way things broke for him. And yeah, this not ideal at all. Save the beam, save the animals. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's rough having like all these one-off checks isolated because of not having hammer. Like you can just see all the time that Solski was able to save just by doing that sequence break. It's incredible how much time was saved there.
So, all right. Well, Solski is going to move on to the quarterfinals of this tournament and finishes with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 50 minutes, and 26 seconds. So GG's to Solski.
GG ski. Really solidly routed game from Solski there. Just went to the right places at the right time, and it really all paid off for him. Well done.
Yeah.
Well routed, and we'll look forward to seeing how he faces off against his next opponent, Maniacal. But it looks like we do have Solski here with us. Congratulations and GG.
Thanks, dude. Just no breaks up until Aussie. That's my next target.
Yeah.
Just foot
until Aussie. Oh, not if I have anything to say about it.
If you beat Maniacal, that'd be great. Because either way, like that's a great matchup. I think I either get to play you or Maniacal. It's a pretty big hot match.
Who, me?
So, yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta face off against Aussie, don't you?
Yeah, I have to face Aussie before. Rip me, basically.
Rip.
Face Apathy.
I got a little confused there. I thought
Aussie. So before we would meet, so let's
thought
ourselves. Yeah.
I thought.
Anyways,
for a second, I'm like, wait, I thought I was facing Maniacal. Did I get it wrong? And then.
But this is not about me. This is about you, my friend. Congratulations on a fantastic route and a great win here.
Yeah, like it just. This is the Hundo Seed Deluxe, right? Like Red Cane in Mire had me a little spooked. Admittedly, like when it was down to ice in Mire, I was like, all right, well, if it's in ice, I think it's okay. If it's in Mire, that's Monka, because I figured like if maybe Migs might have done Maridia first into Norfair, like he might have had the opportunity, but it just depends on like, where I can't remember where Ether was. I think it was Wreck Ship, but yeah, it was just it was a pretty fantastic seed overall.
Yeah, and the way it was routed by you was absolutely on point the whole way through, and it really, I think we were kind of chatting about this before. it really started when the first thing you did when you went back to Super Metroid was you went gauntlet and grabbed your mirror, and from there it was just it seemed like an endless string of really just good fortune on your side, just grabbing all the items when you did.
Mm-hmm. Wreckship early had a lot of value today. Like I think yesterday it had just gravity. This time it had. I can't remember if it had ether or not, guys. Confirm, but
it had Bombo. No, that was
in later. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was ether that was in there. It also had your.
I think ether was a charge. I want to say.
Was it okay? I can't.
It was early. It was early.
Hook shot. Well, hook shot, of course, was at the reserve. Yeah. So that was the big ticket item, and I think there was something else. One of them was pretty good, but one other item was pretty good. But yeah, it was hook shot. But yeah, you just really routed it, and then the Tower of Hera clip giving you the lamp.
That was so funny.
It was so good. Like
I've never seen that before. I've never seen Harapot turn out the lamp. It was actually hilarious. And then I did the basement, right? Because I'm just like, well, I'll play with house money now, I guess.
But the payoff for being able to complete desert was insane.
Yeah,
just
that was
actually bonkers.
I said that to myself too when I checked in. So I was like, I was worried, right? Because I was going towards Pod and Eastern. I didn't know where Fire Rod was at the time, right? So I'm assuming I'm breaking both. And I don't know how far along Fire Rod was. And I said to myself, I'm like, if it's Hammer, Titans, or Red Cane, I'm going to feel real good about this route. And that it was Hammer. I was like, well.
Yeah,
cool
and given where you were at that point, that was about as perfect as it could have been, because then you turned right around and did Pod, and then you did that long sort of loop, and you picked up your Fire Rod along the way, knocked out Skull Woods, and then did Thieves Town, and it was just like everything was really falling your way from that point on. It's like it seemed like you couldn't miss as far as your routing was concerned.
Yeah, like I felt good about options when they were late game too, because I was like, again, it's like I'm thinking to myself, like maybe Migs didn't get Hammer early. Like where would he go, right? So that's why I was like overall checks first, and that's why it got down to that decision of like, if it's Mire, it sucks. If it's Ice, it's good, because I'm figuring maybe you can do like a combo Desert Mire potentially, right? So
potentially.
You go into Mire without Red Cane, that's potentially one item max you get out of a 3.5 minute incursion. So I can see why it just gets passed. So
and Migs did a reasonable choice of actually full clearing Maridia rather early. So like when you did Wreck Ship and eventually Lower Norfair, he had already cleared Maridia at that point. It was just really unfortunate that there's basically nothing there. I mean, he even went back for Shack Tool later after finding Grapple and found the mushroom, which led to nothing, which was
that's what I was worried about. I'm like, that was like the last thing else that was out there. Like it was Mire or that grapple spot. And I was like, well, if he spent 4 minutes to go back and get that and he got it there, GG.
He literally dodged like all the progression. It was quite unfortunate for him.
That's just how it goes, right? Sometimes.
Dragon was his first boss at 43-48, not long before you knocked out Kraid, and as stated, Maridia was just a total bust. I mean, Bombos was really the only like good item that came out of Maridia. The rest was like whatever.
Yeah, it was like high jump in there. Speaking of which, why did you decide to keep high jump? I guess you got baby skip at the end.
Baby
kind of
skip
paid off.
Equal most of it out. Like it's late game, but I was just like, I kind of want these.
Fair enough.
So it was like 2 seeds in a row where I had like high jump. I was like, I kind of just want this. This is like a me thing. It's greedy, right? But I want it.
Yeah, and Chad actually pointing out correctly. Wreck Ship also had the Ice Rod. That was the other key item. That was it.
Yeah, when we saw the Ice Rod pop, I was like, okay, I mean, that's kind of whatever. He's going to get that eventually. But then when that hook shot popped up, I'm like, I know Solski skipping Maridia now.
Yeah.
You went straight for that Paradox, and there's Varia. And Lower
Yep.
Norfair,
Yeah.
and then Moon Pearl pops, and then you get Maridia,
Well,
and then you get Dark World. It was just like everything just smoothly worked
Because
out.
you're thinking at that point, right? Like you get hookshot out of that play, deep in wreck ship. So if your opponent doesn't do wreck ship early, then you have to chase, right? Because if you just blindly chase Maridia, like you're just playing catch up, and you're playing super defensive when you got that advantage.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, all right, well, I got Varia now in the no-brainer play. I had like really good gear at that point. Like I think I found Screw Tag Vanilla, which was hilarious, but
that was hilarious.
I had wave plasma in charge, so I knew I was good for LN, and I had 70 tanks, so it was like the freest LN of all time, basically. So.
It was all in logic, with space
Yes.
and gravity and Varia, so it made sense.
That's when it got to the Pearl, and that's when you went in Maridia. Nothing was in Maridia, but the real prize was that Dark World access, right? And then you got your
real prize was doing desert. That was the real prize.
You know what though? It was good for the route because like it just worked in that way. Because my first stop is like Hobo to Pod, and then I'm like, oh, I got green pen. I'll just whatever. It's a whatever. Then it turns up hammer. I was like, well, that's awfully convenient.
Yeah,
so,
it just kind of informed your entire routing of the Dark World at that point. Like it just turned into a kind of automatically just route counterclockwise around the world. Like it made sense.
That's kind of like SM too, right? Like it was pretty much Bryn to wreck ship to Red Tower down, Kraid, Norfair stuff, a quick pit stop and Link to the Pass. It's what was it? Croc to LN to Bubble Mountain to Maridia.
Yeah,
like that's like your figure eight. So if you can keep into that track, like you're never like double dipping, if at all possible. Like the only thing I had to leave was Shactil, right? So it's just really fortunate how the route worked out.
It was perfect. It was. I don't think you could have really done much better. You could have gone to Maya earlier. That's about it.
Yeah, but
who's gonna do that? Yeah,
not my shoes, right? Because I wouldn't have the Pearl, right? But B, it's just like have so many other things. But yeah, no, I hear you there. All right, well, you guys, any more questions or?
I don't really know what else to say. Like other than you played it like flawlessly. I mean, it's just very impressive execution and routing, and I think you'll go far, son. I think you'll go far.
Yeah,
I was very happy about that too. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Do give our runners a follow today if you haven't already, and also if you're so inclined, give myself Pro8007. My CodeCom Alucard 2004 and our trackers Rubian a follow as well. And on the docket for the schedule, we only have one other match, and that involves my CodeCom taking on Apathy Duck on Tuesday at 8:10 Eastern.
Taking on, getting destroyed by is probably the name of the game. But that leads me to believe to ask Solski one more question, which is, you're gonna have to do the bootless fluteless match coming up here against
free
Maniacal.
win.
What do you have to say about that? Free
win. Yep.
All right,
guys. Nothing matters except for the crash course that is Solski versus Aussie, and either Ivan or Aster versus Solski in the finals, right? So that's where my head's at right now. I can't worry about small fries like Maniacal 42. So
I'm glad you're considering me in the mix.
I mean, Aussie's got less numbers than you, so I'm just giving him the edge for that. Like he's got less drag going on with that, right? Like less text.
That's just the number of wins that I have.
Okay. So maybe
over
I have to
you
do more.
Yeah.
No, I think you'll do well against him. Honestly, I think that's. I think when you get to this stage, I hate saying this term, but it's kind of coin flippy, right? Like anyone can really take the W. And it's gonna be an exciting top 8 for sure. I'm gonna have a lot of fun watching him.
All right. Well, so there's that. So thanks all for watching. So our next third round match is on Tuesday, so keep an eye out for that. Channel is TBD, but GG's once again, Solski, and we'll see you all on Tuesday.